Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, so today we need to take a little bit of a look at that upcoming BT10 expansion, and specifically, we need to be talking about some of them there are blue Digimon that are going to be making a little bit of an appearance, including a couple level 6s, and one that I'm kind of in love with. Although I suppose we need to start off with a vanilla level 3. But don't worry, I think we can be quite quick with this one. What we've got is Regalecusmon. And on the one hand, this is a 2 cost to play level 3, which is great. And it's got 5,000 power, which is high for a level 3. We'll get around some of those counters we see to rookies, which is great. And on the other hand, it's a 2 cost to play or evolve, and that kind of kills it for me. And I know that's really mean, and I'm sorry about that. I don't like these ones, and I know they see play. And I know that you can play them as a 2 cost, and that's really good. I get it entirely. I don't like that I lose the option to Digivolve for free. And the fact of the matter is, we have got a bunch of 2 cost to play normally free evolving Digimon. We've got the Gomamon that came around in the starter deck. We've got a Lekmon from BT1, and we got Crabmon from BT9. Now, admittedly, after those, we run out a little bit, but then again, we still got the Armadillomon from BT1 that, admittedly, is a 1 cost to Digivolve, but you know, 1 is less than 2. And I know we've seen these in other colours, and I know they see play, and maybe I'm being a little bit harsh. I might be being a little bit harsh here. And I'm honestly alright with it. I would rather play the other ones over it. If you know you're not going to be Digivolving, or if you're confident that you've got enough free Digivolving level 3s, then this is absolutely fine, and you'll be golden. But the fact that it's 2 cost to Digivolve really essentially makes it that you can't Digivolve. You've got to play it normally, and there are just going to be too many games where you want to Digivolve it to really make it a consideration for me. Sorry. But we can move on to one which I like a whole bunch more, and I should say our translations are from the lovely folks at Ensan Gaming, and then the lovely folks from DigimonCard.dev. We've got Thetismon here, and oh, I like this one very much indeed. I like this one very much indeed. Now, we've got a level 5 here, 7 cost to play normally, 3 cost to Digivolve, 7,000 power. It's fine. That's a standard level 5. But when you evolve into it, if you have 6 or fewer cards in hand, draw 2. Yes. Just yes. And we've seen this Jellymon line coming around a little bit so far in the TCG, you know, coming from Ghost Game, and we've seen that draw is what they do. The Jellymon from BT9 lets you draw a card when you play a blue tamer, once per turn, and the promo Jellymon, if you've got Kiyashiro Higashimatara in play, you draw 1 when you're attacking once per turn. So yeah, this is pretty good. We know that we're going to be drawing. Jellymon likes to draw. This is the first Thetismon we've actually seen, and I like it. I like this draw. I think this is really good. And, you know, drawing 2 when you Digivolve up is great. One thing that must be borne in mind here, there is that limitation. It's if you've got 6 or fewer cards in hand. That is very important. It is worth noting that if you've got 5 cards in hand, you will draw until 7. It's if you've got 6 or fewer, draw 2, not draw until you've got 6. So there is a potential here where you can actually just go, well, I got 5 cards in hand. Hey, I get to draw 2. That's lovely. I like this. And let's face it, a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time you can kind of plan this out so you've magically got 5 cards in hand. I like this draw. However, when you're attacking once per turn, if you've got 8 or more cards in your hand, you may trash 2 cards from your hand and unsuspend this Digimon. And everything about this, you know, this is one that I'm absolutely in love with. This is probably one of the ones I'm going to be trying to get the pre-release promo for, because I just love it. Because here's the thing, when you first look at it, you go, well, hang on a second, Wassy. You're telling me that I've got to have 6 or fewer cards in hand? And actually, let me make this super clear. It is 6 or fewer. So a second ago I said 5. You can have 6 and then draw 2. To be perfectly clear, it is 6 or less. And actually, 6 is a magic number here, because obviously you want 6 or less for the evolution skill, but then you want 8 or more for the attacking skill. And this is going to be a deck building challenge. And it's going to be a playing challenge. And the challenge is going to be try and keep 6 cards in hand. Because essentially, you've got 6, Digivolve up, hey, I've got 8, then you attack. But this is good, because then when you attack, you then discard 2 from your hand, and then you unsuspend, so you get 2 uses, yay. And then hopefully you Digivolve into another one, and then you draw, and you've got 8, and round we go. And we've seen a bunch of blue cards that rely on you having 8 cards in hand. We saw that one of the starter decks we've seen for blue, the Old Force Digimon deck, has a bunch of cards that rely on you having 8 or more cards in hand. You know, when you got 8 or more in hand, you unsuspend Old Force Digimon. And I've heard from a bunch of people that they've got this to work, and I know Digimon doesn't have as much draw as a bunch of games has, and that's just true. But that doesn't mean you can't get a hand of 8 cards together. And when you're drawing 2, which is great, and you're unsuspending, which is great, there is just a lot to like here, ladies and gentlemen. There is a lot that we can be getting on board with. This is one of my favourite cards I've seen from BT10 so far. I think drawing 2 is nuts, and I think unsuspending is great, and I think there is a reason this is so good, and I think the reason essentially is it's awkward. And I think we've got to bear that in mind. This is not one of those cards that is just easy to play. You've got to manage your hand. And that is a deck building challenge, like I've said, but it's also a playing challenge. You've got to try and make sure that you keep manipulating it so you've always got, 5 to 7 cards in hand. So you can be drawing when you evolve, but also having enough cards in hand to discard to unsuspend and get those extra attacks in. But if you can do that, if you can build your deck well enough, and if you can play carefully enough to actually make this work, this is absolutely brilliant. I actually like it probably more than the level 6s, but we do have some level 6s we need to talk about. So why don't we get started having a little bit of a look at, where's he gone? Regalecusmon. And I'm probably pronouncing that terribly, and I apologise. And what we've got here is a standard level 6, that is 11 cost to play normally, 3 cost to Digivolve, 11,000 power. When Digivolving, trash the bottom 2 Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon. And on the one hand, this is a pretty nice skill. On the other hand, this is your classic blue skill. Like, since Starter Deck 1, blue have been trashing Digivolution cards. So it's nice, don't get me wrong, I'm not poo-pooing it. But I am saying there's nothing special here. When you're playing a level 6, you've got to Digivolve all the way up to it. You've got to be picking this over, a billion other level 6s that are around at this stage. And it's fair to say that this is maybe not a skill which is going to excite us like so many other level 6s. Nice as a nice little bonus, but there's nothing terribly exciting yet. But when you're attacking, if your opponent has a Digimon with no Digivolution cards in play, that is any Digimon with no Digivolution cards, you may play a level 3 and a level 4 Digimon from this Digimon's Digivolution cards without paying. Oh, well, there's the reason to play it, ladies and gentlemen. Now we've got a reason to play it. Because essentially you Digivolve up into this, and obviously Digivolving is cheaper than playing, that's kind of the point. But then you attack with it, and you get to play the level 3 and the level 4 from under it, and in terms of the amount of memory you've paid and the value you've got, it's a little bit insane. You're basically paying to Digivolve up through a level 3 and a level 4, which is generally going to cost you 0 for the level 3 and 2 for the level 4. But then by the time you hit the level 6, you just get to play them for free. That's kind of great. And at this stage, we need to look at those Digimon that can Digivolve into the same level. So, X-Antibody. They would be a classic example here. They're not the only ones, but it's just a nice example. So you can have your Gabumon X-Antibody. So you've got your level 3 Gabumon, Digivolve it into a Gabumon X-Antibody. Hey, look, you've got 2 level 3s. And that's important because if you just go level 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you attack with this, You play the level 3 and level 4 from your Digivolution cards, and that's basically it. It's a vanilla Digimon. You've used your Digivolution skill, you've used your attacking skill to get all your 3s and 4s, that's it, you're done. If, however, you start mucking around with your X-Antibody or other cards that can Digivolve into the same level, sure, it takes a little bit longer. Although, to be clear, you're Digivolving into Gabumon X-Antibody for 0 cost, and you're drawing a card to replace the card that you played, so resources-wise, you're not losing anything, you're net even on resources. But if you can start pulling this off, well, now all of a sudden I attack and I play a level 3 and a level 4, and then I attack again and I play another level 3 and another level 4, and now all of a sudden I'm playing multiple Digimon. Yeah, that I can get on board with. It took a while. We found a good reason to play it. And like I often say with these kind of things, in a pauper format, that is to say you can only play, commons and uncommons, oh, this is good. Then we've got Cannondramon, a dual-colour blue and black Digimon, and it's a big boy. 13 cost to play normally, 4 cost to Digivolve, 12,000 power. So that 11-3-11 has been blown out the water. But you've got Blocker, and this is one of those ones, if you've got Blocker, you want that little bit of extra power. Your average level 6 is kind of around 11,000 power, although it has been creeping up lately. Well, you can now block them while surviving, that's a big deal. But also, when you Digivolve, you unsuspend. So, there's actually a really nice combo here to make with that Thetismon we just looked at. Because you attack. Oh, I got 8 or more cards in hand. Trash to unsuspend. Attack again. And admittedly, you've only got 7,000 power, so you do need to worry a bit about that. Especially if you're attacking into the stack, you could get deleted. But then, you Digivolve up into Cannondramon. And then you unsuspend again. So you've essentially got 3 attacks from the same Digimon, and that's not the only example out there, it's just one example, but this could work beautifully. And you've got Blocker, like I've said, and on your opponent's turn, limited to once per turn, when this Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle, unsuspend it. And this is actually kind of huge, because it gives you 2 blocks. And your opponent's going to know it gives you 2 blocks. It's going to make life very awkward for your opponent. Because essentially, if they've got anything lower than a 12,000, they know you can block with no downside. Like, at all. Because generally speaking, right, what you might do is you might throw a weaker Digimon out into battle, knowing it's going to get blocked and deleted, but then the blocker's gone and you can actually start your attack proper. Well, here, your opponent throws a weaker one out there, you block. You delete it, you unsuspend. They've basically, if they want to get an attack off, with a lower than 12,000 power Digimon, they've got to sacrifice 2 Digimon in order to do it. I love Cannondramon. The fact that you've got Blocker and it's basically a double blocker, and then you unsuspend when you evolve into it, and that's always awkward in case a level 5 you attack with gets deleted. I completely understand it, but there is a lot to get kind of excited about here. That's what I think. I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Guts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Digimon and a bunch of other card games. We did just a couple of days ago show you how One Piece plays, which is fun. And do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.